Strange Tales Society. Puppet, the Green Corpse. This incident occurred in northeast China during the early days of liberation. Hey, slow down! What's the rush? Dia, someone's dead. One morning, Officer Zhang Long was on his way to the archives to deliver documents when someone ran frantically into him. Zhang Long chastised him, and the person, in a panic, said someone was dead. Zhang Long stopped the man and asked for the full story. The man was a cemetery caretaker who had discovered a dead body during his morning patrol, which was why he was in such a panic, coming to report it. "Report! There's an emergency! Come in." As soon as Zhang Long heard it was a murder case, he didn't dare to delay. He brought the man to the police chief's office to report the situation. Report: a murder has occurred at Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. The police chief at the time was a man named Li Dalong. He had served in the military and fought in wars, later being transferred to the Economic Investigation Department, where he repeatedly solved unusual cases. In those days, he was quite a famous legendary figure. Danjiang Police Bureau. Notify everyone to gather at the main gate. We're leaving immediately. Li Dalong listened to Zhang Long's report. Given the social context at the time, to prevent enemy agents from plotting conspiracies, he personally supervised every case, no matter how minor. Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. Zhang Long received the order and quickly gathered his team, heading to Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. Qinglong Mountain Cemetery was located in the urban-rural fringe. It was publicly owned, and people constantly came and went to pay respects to ancestors or relatives. "We're almost there. It scared me to death. It's just behind those bushes." The reporter had been a cemetery caretaker for many years, so Li Dalong found it puzzling. How could someone who spent all day and night around the dead be so frightened by a body? Led by the caretaker, they soon arrived at the spot where the body was discovered. From a distance, they saw a man lying on his back on the ground, with no bloodstains around. Zhao Hu checked the cause of death. Wang Chao arranged for men to identify the body. Li Dalong called out to Zhao Hu, the forensic examiner behind him, to examine the body, then turned to investigator Wang Chao, instructing him to secure the scene and quickly identify the deceased. "Chief, this person was scared to death." Scared to death? Soon, Zhao Hu, responsible for the autopsy, made a new discovery. The person had been scared to death. This deduction greatly surprised Li Dalong. Looking at the body again, it was indeed as Zhao Hu had said, eyes wide open, pupils dilated, and mouth agape to the extreme. But what exactly could a person have seen to be scared to death like this? "Chief, look at this." Wang Chao discovered a shovel and a crowbar near the body in front of a tomb. "That tomb over there has been pried open. It must be a grave robber. I just don't know what he saw that could scare him to death." Furthermore, the tomb's cover slab had been pried open. The deceased was likely attempting to steal valuables from the tomb when something unexpected happened. "Bring everything of value back to the Bureau for examination and analysis." "Yes, sir." After inspecting the scene, Li Dalong ordered his subordinates to take the body back to the Bureau for further autopsy, and all suspicious items left at the scene were also to be brought back for further analysis. Mudanjiang Police Bureau. Don't rush, have a glass of water, take your time. The deceased's identity was quickly confirmed. He was indeed a habitual grave robber. As for the cause of death, it was as Zhao Hu had said, cardiac arrest, likely due to extreme fright before death. The case had no further leads until 3 days later, when another person came to report an incident. "I saw a ghost last night at Qinglong Mountain Cemetery." "Qinglong Mountain Cemetery?" The reporter claimed to have seen ghosts at Qinglong Mountain Cemetery and narrowly escaped death from their clutches. As soon as Zhang Long heard it was related to Qinglong Mountain Cemetery again, he immediately took it seriously. He asked the reporter to describe the incident in detail. "Mother, your son is unfilial for not visiting you often. Please don't blame your son." It turned out that the reporter's surname was Zhang, and his name was Zhang Cheng. He had been doing business out of town for many years. However, recently, for some reason, he kept dreaming of his deceased mother asking him for money. Zhang Cheng felt something was amiss, so he rushed back to his hometown overnight. He didn't care that it was the middle of the night. He went alone to Qinglong Mountain Cemetery to burn some paper money for his mother. "Russell, Russell!" Zhang Cheng cried more and more sorrowfully, mourning his deceased parents and his own nomadic life. As he was crying without restraint, he vaguely heard a rustling sound from the bushes behind him. Who's there?" Zhang Cheng was already scared, being alone at the cemetery in the middle of the night to visit his mother's grave. When he heard a sound behind him, he spun around to look. That single glance instantly made him feel a chill down his pants. He peed himself. Ghosts! He saw several evil spirits swaying out from the bushes. Each one had a green face, fangs, and eyes rolled back, with fingernails grown incredibly long. They lunged at Zhang Cheng. "Help!" Zhang Cheng's legs turned to jelly from fright. He wanted to stand but couldn't, so he could only wail and crawl forward. But after only a few steps, he bumped into someone else. Zhang Cheng looked up and gasped, "Oh my God!" Another green-faced, fanged evil spirit stood before him. It was too late for Zhang Cheng to run. He was completely surrounded by several evil spirits. At this point, Zhang Cheng realized his life was in danger, and he couldn't afford to be scared anymore. He reached down and picked up a thick branch from the ground. He didn't care about anything else, swinging left, then swinging right. He was all in now. It was death either way, so maybe by fighting he still had a chance to survive. Luckily for him, with such wild swings, he found an opening and ran out of the cemetery. Although he sustained some injuries, he had at least saved his life. "If I hadn't run fast, they would have captured me," Zhang Cheng recounted the incident, and Zhang Long took down every detail in his report. Since the incident occurred again at Qinglong Mountain Cemetery, Zhang Long didn't dare to delay and immediately reported it to Chief Li Delong. Incidents keep happening at Qinglong Mountain Cemetery, and they should be related. Zhang Long gave Li Delong a detailed report on the latest situation, and also presented his analysis of the Qinglong Mountain Cemetery cases. Go to Tomb 35, mentioned by Zhang Cheng, and investigate the scene. Also, talk to the caretaker again to learn more, and see if anything unusual has happened recently. Li Delong immediately issued orders to investigate Tomb 35, where Zhang Cheng's parents were buried, and to talk to the caretaker for a detailed understanding of the cemetery situation. Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. Zhang Long, with 2 police officers, quickly rushed to Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. After inspecting Tomb 35 and finding nothing unusual, he then found the caretaker. "Has anything unusual happened lately?" "Unusual? No, I've never heard of any ghosts before." The caretaker, old Yu, said that in the more than 10 years he had been guarding the cemetery, he had never heard of any ghostly occurrences. It had been very peaceful, with nothing special happening apart from people coming to pay respects. "I'm old, and lately I've been sleeping very soundly. Even when that man last night said he saw ghosts screaming and shouting, I didn't hear a thing." Old Yu said he was old and slept soundly at night. Even the loud commotion Zhang Cheng made in the cemetery last night hadn't managed to wake him. "Regarding Tomb 35, do you have anything to say?" Zhang Long then asked about Tomb 35. "There's nothing special about Tomb 35, but Tomb 37 belongs to a very filial family. Someone comes to pay respects and sweep the tomb every day." Old Yu thought for a moment and said that Tomb 35 rarely had visitors throughout the year, completely unlike Tomb 37 next to it, which was cleaned and visited every day. It would be best if they assigned you an extra person. It hasn't been peaceful here lately. Let's go to Tomb 37 and take a look. Sigh. All right. Officer, safe travels. Zhang Long couldn't get any new information from Old Yu, so he took his men to Tomb 37, as Old Yu had suggested. Zhang Long circled Tomb 37. It appeared to belong to a well-off family. The plot was quite large and kept very clean. Grave of so-and-so. But Zhang Long soon discovered a problem. According to Old Yu, someone came to pay respects at Tomb 37 every day, yet there were no offerings or items of worship visible around the tombstone. Mudanjiang Police Bureau. Stake out Tomb 37. Zhang Long returned to the bureau and reported the latest information to Li Dalong. Li Dalong immediately decided to stake out Qinglong Mountain Cemetery that very night, with Tomb 37 being the primary target. Qinglong Mountain. Zhang Long received the order and, with a team of elite officers, ambushed themselves within Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. Qinglong Mountain Cemetery. They waited until late into the night when they heard the cemetery's iron gate creak open. Someone walked into the cemetery, but what was strange was that the caretaker, Old Yu, had locked the iron gate before going to sleep. Yet this person had a key and seemed completely unafraid of waking Old Yu. The person entered the cemetery and walked straight towards the burial grounds. Zhang Long told his team to stay hidden, while he quietly followed behind the person. But just as the person turned a corner and Zhang Long followed closely behind, the person vanished. The spot where they disappeared was right in front of Tomb 37. Rustle. Zhang Long's mind immediately raced. He had been right behind them. A person couldn't just vanish before his eyes. Could that person be a ghost? As Zhang Long considered all possibilities, a rustling sound of leaves being disturbed came from the bushes behind him. Zhang Long turned his head and couldn't help but be greatly alarmed. Several green-faced, fanged evil spirits walked out of the woods, bearing their fangs and claws, and lunged at him. Zhang Long was stunned for a moment, but he immediately pulled out his pistol and fired a shot at the female ghost lunging at him. "Captain, are you all right?" As soon as the gunshot rang out, the team members who had been in ambush rushed out, all raising their guns and preparing to fire at the evil spirits. "Don't shoot! They're human!" At this critical moment, Zhang Long pushed down his team members' gun barrels and shouted loudly, "Don't shoot! Go get the fishing net from the car!" It turned out that the evil spirits with greenish faces bled red after being shot. How could a ghost bleed? Zhang Long ordered someone to get the fishing net from the car. Working together, they used fishing nets to trap the evil spirits one by one, preventing them from harming anyone. Just as Zhang Long was about to breathe a sigh of relief, he suddenly heard the sound of a stone slab being moved behind him. Although the sound wasn't loud, in the silent night it was particularly jarring. "Don't move!" Zhang Long gave a signal. Everyone, holding the evil spirits trapped in the nets, hid in the woods. Looking back at Tomb 37's tombstone, it had been moved aside, revealing a large underground cavity. Someone was stealthily climbing out. Before that person could fully emerge, Zhang Long lunged forward, pressing his gun against their head. Climbing out of the tomb was a furtive, middle-aged man who was so startled by Zhang Long and his team, who seemed to appear out of nowhere, that he froze in place, unable to move. Zhang Long descended into the tomb. Beneath Tomb 37 was a small space where Zhang Long found a radio transmitter and a large quantity of explosives. Zhang Long took the man back to the bureau for interrogation. The man confessed that they had chosen the cemetery because it was sparsely populated and offered good concealment. They had built a space beneath Tomb 37 to store explosives and sabotage materials, and also to transmit information, engaging in enemy intelligence activities. As for those green-faced, fanged evil spirits, they were all ordinary people who had been transformed. Their superiors had given them a certain drug. Anyone injected with it would instantly turn green-skinned and lose their sanity. When they transmitted information at night, they would release these injected individuals around the cemetery to deter people from approaching. At this point, the Qinglong Mountain Cemetery case came to a close. The individuals resembling evil spirits caught at the cemetery were confirmed to be missing persons. Li Delong sent them to the 703 Institute for treatment. What exactly caused people to become like this? Can they be cured? The 703 Institute was a special department established at the time to handle various unknown cases and incidents. It's not that simple. Human lives are at stake. We must spare no effort to save them. According to Professor Chen of the 703 Institute, those individuals had been injected with a toxin that could damage the brain and change skin color. However, their symptoms weren't just that. The symptoms they exhibited were more like their souls had been extracted by a dark art, making them difficult to cure immediately. Li Delong gave the order. They must be saved, no matter what. Mudanjiang Police. Chief, this is the Qinglong Mountain Cemetery case file. 3 days after the incident subsided, Zhang Long presented the compiled case file for the Qinglong Mountain Cemetery case to Li Delong. Li Delong carefully reviewed it once, then placed the file back into the archive bag. Place it in the top secret archive to be permanently sealed. He took out a special stamp and pressed it onto the archive bag, then instructed Zhang Long to send the file to the confidential room for sealing. Top Secret Archives. Thus, the Qinglong Mountain Cemetery case was sealed away.